discriminating audiences at the Sundance Film Festival have discovered one of the most shocking, unflinching, eye-opening films about cops ever made.
Do we look like the two dumbest guys in the world to you?
Super Troopers. In this town, you don't mess with the law.
You know how fast you were going?
65.
63.
The law messes with you.
Isn't the speed limit 65?
Yeah, it is.
I'm freaking out, man.
May I please see your license and registration?
Perhaps some spanking and cuffing is in order.
Ain't It Cool News says funny stuff all over this movie.
Give me a double bacon cheeseburger.
Double bacon cheeseburger, it's for a cop.
What the hell's that all about? You gonna spit in it now?
No, I was just telling him that so he makes it good. Don't spit in that cop's burger.
Made me laugh out loud, long and hard.
Another highway cop? What are you guys, multiplying?
That look like spit to you?
Yeah.
Damn it, you burger cop!
Super Troopers.
They're coming back, man!
Pull the vehicle over!
I'm already pulled over.
Pull over farther, man!
I can't pull it. Sir, I'm already pulled over.
He's already pulled over! He can't pull over any farther!
What is up, guys, and welcome back to Late to the Party. This is the segment on the Collection Connection where we take a look at movies that are over 10 years old. In this case, we got one that's 20, so it meets double the criteria. Is it double as fun? Spoiler alert, it's not. This week, we had the fortune or misfortune, however you want to see it, of watching Broken Lizard's Club Dread. Broken Lizard's Super Troopers. I found out that Broken Lizards, it's actually a comedy crew, which I never heard of or I didn't know about. And
some people that say the same thing about the Collection Connection.
That's true. And then one day we'll be being reviewed.
One day.
So apparently Fox at the time bought the rights to this movie for $2 million and distributed it and made about 23 million. So definitely made their money. I'm just interested. Who's the first time is it watching this movie? Oh, snap. All right, cool. So,
you brought a movie that Nate's never seen.
I know.
That's kind of hard to do, huh?
Yeah.
Seems like Lego's the only one to be able to do that.
Yeah. So I'm interested, Liz. First impressions of this movie.
I've seen like clips of it. Like sometimes they do like those comedy shows or whatever. They always refer back to it. And after the movie came out, the meow joke was going around Mile High Comics for forever. It was okay. It seemed like it was like a bunch of skits woven with a very fine thread of a story. There were a couple of laugh out louds for me, but it's gags that I always get when after they're done chugging the maple syrup and they're bantering back and forth with the guy and he makes some kind of comment. And anytime somebody throws something off screen and hits some dude in the face, I don't know why. I start rolling and I start laughing. And I thought that was probably the funniest scene in the whole freaking movie. And I think the actor that stole this movie for me, though, it was kind of surprising, was Brian Cox. I was not expecting him to be as funny as he was as the elder statesman guy in this movie. I mean, it was fun, but I don't understand all the hype behind it. Maybe it's a product of its time, but it was, it's on par with, other silly comedy movies that were out there. It's kind of meh.
Interesting. Yeah. Nate, what were your first impressions upon watching this classic?
Classic. Yeah, that's why I heard it was a classic, and something about it during the time that it was going on I never really felt compelled to watch this movie, for whatever reason. And I've seen the characters come up in like cameos and other things, man, this is like Canada's Monty Python for me. I mean, I feel the same. I feel the same for this as I did for that. So, I bet you Josh is going to give this movie like a 14 out of 10.
Josh, is that true? Are you going to give this movie a 14 out of 10?
If I had a third hand, then yes, I would. But no.
So I'm guessing you've watched this movie before.
I've only seen it twice. This time, and then the time when it came out in the theater, I saw it then as well. And I enjoyed it far more this time than I did the first time.
Really? Why so?
This is one of those films like Strange Brew or Old School or American Pie or things like that, which they have a lot of funny things going on in it, but they're really, like Liz said, they don't really have a coherent, real narrative going on. It's just a lot of funny gags. And so I think when I saw it the first time, I had higher expectations because a lot of people were talking it up. It was kind of the rage at the time. And going into it this time, I had very, very low expectations. And I think that drove my enjoyment of it up. So I got more kicks out of it this time than I did the first time.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with you. I was I was the opposite. I kind of had high expectations of it because, like I said, a lot of people had told me it's a classic. You haven't watched it. What? It's the funniest thing. Yeah, it was kind of like, okay, here we are. And there was a few moments where I did laugh. Like the opening scene, dude, got me. So, and that's what I think got me disappointed. That the opening scene for me was pretty damn hilarious. I was cracking up, but then it was just kind of like, it was like playing Flappy Birds up and down really, really dramatically. So it was like super sharp turns and super, super sharp drops. And it was like low, low, low for a while. And all of a sudden high, 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 low, low, low. So I wanted to really like it and enjoy it and go crazy for it. But I mean, it just, I don't know. It didn't deliver. Isaac, you've watched this before, right?
I love this film.
Oh, man. My man owns it on DVD. All right. Tell us your love. Tell us your love. Tell us your love about it. What's up? What did you feel?
Take me back to being young and seeing this stuff and wanting to be a stupid cop like them and do stupid shit, dude. That's funny. It's a good mock on policemen and all this shit, dude. They're all dumb guys. That's all it is. And the jokes are funny and it just takes me back to a simpler time, dude, when I didn't give a fuck about nothing. I wanted to smoke pot and shoot people.
Damn. We're gonna edit that out just for safety's sake. But you brought up a point though that I was I couldn't help but imagine, like, if this movie was released today, what do you think would be the sentiment across like the police community? Like, or people who back them up or who really,
Well,
do you think it would
Mounties? In part 2, they're Mounties in Canada.
Oh, really? Okay.
There's a part 2 that just came out like 2 years ago.
Really? That long ago? Oh, wow. That was a long gap.
But the second one was very political and very just like where the times are is where it was at. And this right here, 2002, where the times we're at, we had Jackass out. We had all kinds of shit. Internet was still pretty young in its age, and everything wasn't as crazy as it is now. The Indian officer was the dude that was in Jackass that played the taxi driver.
Okay.
So that's why he was like, "Come on," when Jackass, because he was from Super Troopers.
Yeah.
That's what the gag was. But I've always enjoyed this film. That's why I bought it when I first saw it, because I thought it was so funny.
Me, I think
I literally just graduated high school at this when this movie came out.
Yeah. Yeah. But me, I think that I don't know. Did you guys have a favorite scene? I mean, I was thinking that, it might have been the one where it opens everything up, but me, I don't know. But what do Meow think?
Liz, he's talking to
any
you.
favorite scene? Do you have any favorite scenes at all?
Me, like I said, that I think the thing that I laughed at the hardest was that whole bit was kind of funny, but they're chugging the maple syrup, and then she's at the counter and she's like, "Can I have some syrup?" She goes, "Oh, sorry, honey, we're all out." And she looks over, and the two jackasses are sitting there with the empty bottles, and then they have that back and forth between the state troopers. And somebody says, "Oh, your mom," and it's just this bottle comes out of nowhere, hits the dude right in the face. I don't know why, but that gag is done. I think it's done in Hot Fuzz too, and a trash can to the head or something. And I don't know why. I guess I just have a very lizard brain when it comes to that, and it's friggin' hilarious to me. That is probably my favorite scene. It's just because that's where I laugh the hardest. Yeah.
Josh, what is yours? Do you have one?
Yeah, I think the opening scene really sets the tone and expectation of the movie for good or for bad. Just the fact that the guys in the car are freaking out, and the one guy eats all the weed and all the mushrooms, and that when they take off, somehow they end up behind them again, and there's this. You almost get the sense that what you're watching is not really what's going on, but rather it's from the perception of the guy who's getting high as fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then later on, they're all in the back seat, and he's licking the window.
Snozzberries taste like snozzberries. Oh.
It's a pretty solid opening, a real strong opening. Now the film obviously doesn't carry that kind of strength the whole way through, but it really does set a good tone for the rest of the flick.
Nice. Nate, why was the metal crotch cup your favorite scene?
What?
Why was the metal cup scene your favorite scene?
When they're at the shooting range and they're shooting.
I know that was the scene in there, but it had nothing to do with being my favorite. That's the problem that I have with the question.
It was probably the scene.
My favorite scene was the last scene of the movie, because it brought what happened with the guys from the first scene to fruition, and it showed and then it led into the after scenes when they were all partying and stuff, and it looked kind of fun. So that made me get off my high horse a little bit about the movie, because at that point I was just like, man, this is like a stupid movie done badly. And when I got to the end scenes on it, it's like, you know what, these are just some guys, they're having fun, and it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I wanted to be. And I'm also trying to think, dude, why aren't comedies funny anymore? What the fuck's the matter with me, man? I'm all
old and jaded.
Right? I'm like, jeez, dude, I need to go get some whippets or some shit next time we get a comedy, so I can get some kind of smile. Maybe I'll get some Jello shots. I got to do something to loosen up a bit. Maybe I'll get some gummies or something. Just try to fucking take the edge off when I'm watching these movies, because part of it, I got all these kids, man. I'm trying to watch a movie and it's oh man. And then maybe the movie's great, but I'm so mad at everybody being so distracting while I'm trying to watch it that it takes all the fun out of it. I don't know. I have to work on my ambiance for sure, because every comedy can't suck. There's no way movies I known and loved forever are horrible.
You're as jaded toward comedies as I am toward comic books. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah, but I don't want to be. That's the difference.
You enjoy doing it, Josh.
Well, but so does he.
I don't. I want to like these movies.
Uh-huh.
I want to like every movie. How fun would it be to be Lego? Doesn't that seem so fun? It's not fun being the grounded guy.
It does.
But,
It does seem fun, but it also seems mildly disingenuous.
Well, that's why I'm trying here. I'm here right now speaking to the people. I want to like these movies, you know. And you know, back to the question though, seeing the guys have fun at the end of it just made me realize, like, man, it made me have an introverted moment. So maybe I don't know. I gotta try. Like, this is a comedy, all right. Let me put on my Three Stooges, you know, jersey and go and try to watch this comedy from a funny point, you know, because it's got to happen.
All right, Isaac.
My favorite scene is the one when they pull over the Porsche and they two French people.
Yes,
It's
I
two
forgot about that
people, and there's like, he's talking to him and he's like seeing in there and he's looking at the wife and the wife is just showing everything off to him. He's just like, oh my God, you could tell like, oh, these cops are super crooked. I love it. And then he starts hooking up with the wife at the front of the car. They're like, the car's hot. And he's like, yeah, it is. And then as the other officer's talking to him, the dude comes out with the little feather, starts poking him in the ass with it. He's like, stop. And all the while, he has his kid in the back seat of the car and his kid's there. And he's like playing in the car. They're like, get back in the car. Good shit, dude. Everything was just all chaotic. Just like probably how Nate's house is.
Man.
Sit on Uncle So-and-so's lap. Yeah, I don't think
that's not a good idea. I was just with this. And then later on, we see that
the couple,
that cop is a swinger. And he's like, any day I'll teach you how to swing, kid. But we got to take these people in. And at the end of it, he's got them at his house. And she's like, can we just keep him one more day? And he's like, who wants a mustache ride? I want one. I want one. 10 out of 10 just with that scene alone.
There you go.
I have to say, as someone who is primarily of German descent, that is exactly how Germans are. 100%.
Oh man. All right. Well, let's get into the buckets, brother. Isaac, start us off since we're already there with you.
I love this movie. Anytime I see it on TV, I watch it. I always laugh. It takes me back to being that 17-year-old dumb kid who loved this film, and I'm gonna continuously give it 10 out of 10 for that German chick.
All right, Nate.
Oh,
what are
man,
your thoughts on this?
You know, he just reminded me of the automatic 10 rule.
And those were perky.
I remember Josh went up. This is a 10 out of 10.
No, but see, then he had Homeboy's ween on there too, and that kind of that automatically
like,
starts subtracting there.
You're like, this damn dude, that guy's got some gut to be doing that.
Dude, I'll give it some guts.
He had guts to do that, dude. That thing was so small.
Right? Like
a little hitchhiker thumb. I'm all highway, baby. All powdered sugar donut up.
Oh man. Let's you know, Isaac's making great points about this. Things that I would have probably had a better time watching with somebody. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I gotta reapproach these comedies, but I'll give this one an 8. It's better than I feel like it is. So that's a really good score from me, Isaac. So
it is very good.
All right, Scott's.
I mean, I like this movie. It's fun. It reminds me, because my dad asked me about this, how I like the movie, and I said it reminds me of the stories he would tell of him and his buddies back in the day when they would run the monorails at Disneyland, and they would do stupid stuff like this all the time, like screw with the guests and mess around with the higher ups and management and all the dumb crap they used to do as a kid watching them do. I got to drive the monorail, and I should have never been able to do something like that. It's just just take it out of the Disneyland and put it into like the police officer thing. You know, it's not. I liked it. It gets an 8 from me too. It's not. I mean, the more I'm thinking about it, I'll probably have to go back and watch it again. But the more I'm thinking about it, the different scenes, yeah, there's a lot of funny stuff that's in it. So yeah, and I enjoyed it. But like I said, I think Brian Cox is my favorite actor in this one. I think him trying to play the straight guy in this is pretty genius, and I really like that part of it. So it gets an 8 out of 10 for me.
You know, I think if I would have had to review this like 20 years ago, it probably would have gotten a pretty low score, something like a 3 or a 4. I'm inclined at this point to give it like a 7, but Isaac reminded me of the Germans, so that's definitely going to make it an
8. All right. Yeah, and I'm right there with you guys. There was some good points to it, and Isaac's pointing out some of the stuff that, you know, yeah, and then Liz too, so I'm inclined to give it an 8 out of 10 too. I was going to give it a 7, but when you brought up that Porsche scene, I was like, that's right, I did laugh out loud on that one, so... So I'll round it up to an 8.
You know, I wonder if movies like this, and I think this came up one of the last times that we reviewed a comedy film, that this is one of those things where you have to sit with a bunch of friends and to watch and enjoy it, because one of the things that I think amped up the film for me was, you know, watching my wife crack up. You know, she was snorting a couple of times. It was so bad. So I think maybe one of these days, if we ever decide to do a Late to the Party live, we should pick some comedy film, and then we would get a big kick out of it.
Definitely.
That's true. Well, we'll see where the next one goes. Who's after me now?
That'd be Isaac.
All right, brothers. So thank you guys so very much for joining us on this episode of Late to the Party. Let us know what your thoughts were on Super Troopers. Are we rating it way too low? What's your favorite scene? Tell us below. Hit that like, subscribe. We got more amazing movies coming up. And I hand the reins off to my buddy Isaac. So check us out on Talking Shh. And we'll see you next week, guys. We're out. Meow.